Pacman. Yes, our yellow friend from all the way back in 1980, chasing ghosts while being healthy by collecting fruit. I'm sure the majority of you remember him like this, but did you know he had a trilogy of 3D platforming games? Ah yes, Pacman World. Pacman World 2 was one of my favorite childhood games. The third entry was not memorable. I never finished the first one. All I could remember is it being pretty hard, so I jumped back in to finish what I started on my Twitch stream. I wish I didn't. We are going to focus on one of the late game stages, but before that, let me explain Pacman's moveset. He has a butt bounce that allows him to jump higher than usual. He has a rev roll that allows him to go really fast, but wasn't really utilized too much throughout the game. And he has the ability to throw power pellets at enemies, though it wasn't very good because of the poor aim. The game starts in a hub area divided in sections, and you can choose which level to go to. Now that the basics are down, let's explore Down the Tubes. The level is set in an industrial facility with toxic waste. The setting is very nice, and the falling gears add to the atmosphere of a rundown or dangerous facility. You do a couple of jumps and then you reach a very awkward platforming section. You have to do a rev roll to go across the gap and reach the next platform, but the platform is so small that it looks like Pacman is going to fall off most of the time. Once you start bouncing upwards, there's a wooden slope with a collectible fruit on it. The slope is so oddly positioned that sometimes you will automatically slip off and lose a life. Now with this cherry collected, you can go back and open the locked door to get a collectible. This is a perfect example of a major problem I have with this game, and that would be with all the backtracking that happens all the time. In my stream, we were talking about the backtracking issues in the game, and at the same exact time the level had me go all the way back to the start of the level to grab another collectible. Back to where we collected the fruit, I had some trouble figuring out how to reach the next bounce pad. You have to use Pacman's butt bounce to have a greater height and reach the next platform. There wasn't any other sort of platforming like this before, so I was stumped on how to do this for a while. The next section shows the issues regarding the player's camera. There are many falling obstacles in this section, as well as waiting for moving platforms. The main problem is that the camera is a bit too zoomed in on Pacman where you won't see the incoming obstacles. The player's movement is pretty fast, so it's quite common to simply run into things that will damage you because the camera doesn't show enough ahead of you. The next area has these moving platforms that you have to rev roll to get them moving. These platforms are pretty common throughout the game, so it's very simple to understand what to do next. The large problem with these platforms is knowing what direction they are going to go. Look at this for example. Where do you think this platform will go once activated? To the left where that platform is? Or to the right where we just came from? Awesome. This jump right here is an example of a major flaw for this game. Due to the camera's position and the inability to rotate it, you cannot tell how far you have to jump in order to reach the next platform. This level is very light on these jumps, but throughout the game there are many jumps like this that cause so much frustration. This next area has the player rev roll in order to get up the slope, but in turn damages the player once reaching the other side. This is not good level design and just isn't fair to the player. After another checkpoint and a few jumps, you are greeted to another rev platform. This is another example of poor camera work. You can see how it's very hard to see what is ahead of you and when to know when to stop rev rolling to not get hit. The camera is way too low for this section. Once you reach the top, you can use a rev platform to backtrack to open a door, or you can just continue. When you continue, you're entering the second half of the level, which is somehow worse and extremely boring. You slide down and are greeted to a green button and a metal power-up. The metal power-up allows you to run underwater so you can traverse faster, so I instinctively jumped down the water to get as far as possible in the pipes. Unfortunately, my actions have caused me to waste 15 minutes of my life. Whoa, a slide, wow. In the initial room, I was moving too quick to notice this guy. Every section in the game has 4 levels, and there is a Pacman friend that you have to rescue within one of those 4 levels. In order to reach the final boss, you have to rescue all of your friends. So if you missed one, you need to go back. So this level is laid out as freeing your friend is optional, yet it is required. Let me explain. Once you go down the tube as Metal Pacman, you have 2 paths. You can either go down or to the right. During my first playthrough, I did not care about collectibles, so I assumed going down was the correct path to reach the end faster. Unfortunately, I was completely wrong. Going down resulted in an annoying, tedious, and agonizingly slow path to collect fruit. The sharks did not help the situation at all. Besides the fact that they're extremely loud for no reason, you can just swim by them without any problems. The average player would not really know that this was an optional path, so that the fact that there are checkpoints in dead-end areas just gives off so much confusion on where to go. Unfortunately for me, I had no clue that this was the path to get the fruit needed to save your friend. In order to save your friend, you have to get this, pear, and unlock a door all the way back to get a key to unlock the cage. During this time, you're reminded how awful the camera is and how it refuses to show you important obstacles that are ahead. Now, if you didn't want to save your fellow pack person, where do you go? You take the path on the right from the start of the tube and you'll reach the end instantly. Am I out? Am I free? Great. Amazing level. Thanks for watching. Awesome. Great. Awesome. Amazing.